as we start off every episode. Hello. Going to be like the greeter at Walmart here.
Yeah.
This is Jazz and...
Tea.
And tea, because she's got the tea all the time.
That is true. That's correct.
That is correct. Actually, that makes sense. Take the headphones off. I find that I speak really, really slow when I'm hearing myself. It echoes back, but it worked out. So this is Giving Up the Ghost podcast. We are here live at the Vaughan Street Jail. I always wonder but it's the Vaughan Street Jail at, did I put the address? It's the corner of Vaughan and Memorial St. Mary's. I thought I put the address on there. Anyway, 444 York. 444 York. We should know, though.
Yeah.
We work at another jail down the street.
That's right.
Yeah, but we won't get into that today. Anyway, so we're here. Vaughan Street Jail is very known to be haunted. They have tours coming in for doors open weekend here. They have tours every 15 minutes coming through, and the lineup was crazy out front, eh? It was insane. So we're hoping to speak with some people, see if they've got some stories to share with us. Not sure how long we're going to be here. We'll be here for a couple hours. So, hello. And we have a lady in the back. She's telling stories when everybody comes out, and we'll see what goes on. Yeah.
Toronto is also having their doors open.
Do they really?
Event,
yeah.
And I'm wondering if anybody else does.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think it was unique. It's 20 years here in Winnipeg.
Oh.
And it was started by, I believe, by Cindy at Winnipeg Heritage.
Okay.
Yeah, so me and Cher were at the St. Boniface Museum this morning, and now we're over here. Yeah, please take a card and share stories or listen.
If you have a ghost story.
Yeah.
We'll record you. You'll be famous. Winnipeg famous.
Winnipeg famous. Actually, well, no, technically we're downloaded in 43 countries. So
Worldwide famous?
Worldwide, that's right. Yeah, so this is Doors Open Winnipeg, and we're fortunate enough to be at the end of the tour. I'm kind of glad we're at the end of the tour because it's kind of hot in there.
Yes, people will want to escape.
But So.
And when they're done, they'll want to come back and be on the podcast and share a story.
That's right. Who would not want to talk to us? I'm going to put my glasses on, incognito. So the lady's telling the tour, talking about the hangings, because we're in the courtyard part where there were 13, speculated 20 people actually were hung back here.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. Like right here.
In this part.
Died right here.
That's why that
is a little freaky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, ask it a question.
I will. So we have the magnetic sphere of fortune, and it worked actually quite accurately at the museum. So now knowing, well, I knew, but now that T knows that people died right where we were sitting in the parking lot, we're going to take it for a spin and ask, are you a prisoner that was hung here? They only did hangings up until like 1930, and then everything took place over at Headingley because they had to bury them out there. So if they had to bury them out there, then you might... Oh, actually, Brookside, they buried them, but in unmarked graves.
I'm sure there are people buried here anyway.
Yeah.
Of the jail.
Yeah.
No, wait. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Were there any officers killed?
Okay. Were there any officers killed on duty here at the Vaughan Street Jail?
Or maybe somebody had a heart attack.
There was one,
something.
actually. Mm-hmm. Just like with hotels.
Yeah.
A lot of people die in hotels, and you wouldn't even think it. You know, in their sleep. Some people choose to take their own lives in a hotel so that family... No way.
Are you somebody not even associated with the jail prior to the jail being here?
That's a good question. See, she said she wouldn't be a great co-host, but she's got all the good ones. See, look how it just kind of goes wonky everywhere. And again, a shout out to the girls from Winnipeg Paranormal, maybe, it says. Shout out to the girls from Winnipeg Paranormal Group that invited me and Cher out to the B&B in Ely, Manitoba a couple weeks ago. It was great, and we plan on doing more with Kelly and Ashley and the rest of their crew. It was fun. It was a good time. And I'll just edit. If there's any quiet moments, I'll just edit that out so we don't have to keep talking. Okay. Oh.
Okay, we were just invited by a wasp.
Incoming. I'd put this guy up, but I don't know if he would blow away. Hopefully we can get this lady to come tell us some stories after. But she's kind of busy here. She must be tired from talking all the time, eh?
I would hate that.
I would hate that too. I mean, I love talking.
Like there he goes already.
He's given up the ghost.
Like,
Oh yeah, there was like hundreds outside. We drove
I
around.
thought they were 15 minutes apart.
Yeah, but people, you know, they got to read, they got to wander and stuff like that. If you see a cute kid, you can give them a sticker. Don't give the ugly kids any stickers though.
Don't give what? Don't give who?
The ugly.
Oh.
I'm kidding. There's no such thing. And this is sober.
Yeah.
Watch out.
How's it work now that you're sober?
I don't know. I guess we're not as entertaining. I don't know. You'd have to ask the people listening. Well, you know, I'll have one drink while we record, but I got to be careful.
Well, you both do.
Yeah. Well, we both do. Yes. I do love listening to this stuff, though.
Can we ask this if they're... Okay, so they're not an inmate, they're not an officer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Children and women were here too, you know.
I wonder if there's somebody, like there's admin people, there's just regular workers, it's cleaner maybe?
Sure. Did somebody pass here that was not a prisoner? I did actually. Apparently it's known that there is a prisoner that hung himself here, like not in the gallows.
Yeah.
I actually found out his name yesterday. I did some sleuthing, and I'm proud to say I found the name of the prisoner that actually hung himself. And the reason why he hung himself, ask a friend. I think somebody's messing with it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So the name of the prisoner that hung himself here, apparently he was convicted. He was found convicted. And he robbed the Royal Bank in West Kildonan, as well as a bank in Beausejour. And they caught him and his partner. And I guess he was so ashamed here. I think he was also convicted. I think they tried and convicted him. And then when he came back here, he hung himself.
I wonder though about convictions of the past, like we have DNA, we have evidence.
How legit, yeah, I know. But because it has been known that there was a prisoner that hung himself, so not somebody that was hung in the parking lot.
So let's ask this person, were you wrongfully convicted
Oh,
person?
so we're going to ask the magnetic ball of fortune if they were wrongfully convicted of a crime.
And that's why they don't want to say that they were an inmate or an officer.
I'm glad our view is blocked.
Why do you say that?
Of the building over there.
Oh.
I don't want to see that till Wednesday. Oh, see that, eh?
That was close.
I know. It's
that was
weird.
Close in between yes and maybe.
And went to a maybe.
I think they wanted to say yes, actually.
Yeah. And maybe other people preventing them from saying yes. Oh, there goes the next crowd. Crazy. And actually, people were also put here that were criminally insane as well.
Oh, really?
But insane, you're going to love some of the story once we start reading it. Insane can also mean like kept a horrible house. Hello. They kept an untidy house, and they were insane.
Okay, so ask this person if they were criminally insane.
The person that we're talking to, were you criminally insane? Oof.
Because that could mean they were guilty of keeping a bad house, but in reality, that's not really a crime.
And it's funny, for all the people that were convicted of crimes and sent to spend time in Vaughan Street Jail, nobody for prostitution. Isn't that awkward? You know why, right?
No.
Because they had the police protecting them. Because they were like the customers.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we had asked,
were you found criminally insane?
were you found criminally insane? So we basically are dealing with a spirit that's not telling us straight answers because they were criminally insane.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think that they committed a crime, they were convicted of something, but they don't see themselves as a criminal.
Maybe. So we can read some of the history, like, because here at Giving Up the Ghosts, we do the history and the hauntings, because we fucking love history. Keeping the swearing in check because there's kids everywhere. So we're going to start reading some of the history we compiled of the jail. It's very impressive. What is your name, by the way?
I'm Amanda.
Hi, Amanda. What? You want to read?
No,
you want me to
go
read?
ahead.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I thought you had 2 of these.
No, I only got one.
Okay.
I'm cheap. Printing costs money, man. We don't make money at this podcast. Anyway. All right. So.
You can donate to Giving Up the
Oh,
Ghost
no.
Podcast.
Don't start that. No. We don't work. Homie, don't play that way. Okay. So Vaughan Street Jail, the history, and this is from the Manitoba Historical Society. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. These people do a great amount of work and research. So I am not going to, put a spin on like I found this information. So kudos to Manitoba Historical Society. So standing at the corner of Winnipeg's York Avenue and Memorial Boulevard is the former Vaughan Street Jail. It lays dormant as people pass by without giving it a second thought, which is true. I left that in because it's true. Mm-hmm. Occasionally a tour guide pauses to tell tales of its former days. A tourist gaze at the building with its rusty bars and peeling paint, images of inmates' punishment and executions fled their imaginations. Of course, if the walls could talk, they'd reveal that there were more than just those stories. There's stories about how men, women, and children suffering from mental and physical disabilities were treated in the late 19th century, early 20th centuries. And the story begins during the Winnipeg's first economic boom in 1881. Oh,
Another group is coming.
Another group's coming through. Hello. Hi there. Hello. Hi.
Hi. Is this the way out?
You can check out, but you can never leave. Isn't that how it goes? Were you guys scared? Was it scary in there?
No.
No?
You were brave.
Oh, very brave. Hello. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
I don't know. Presentation upstairs. Hi there.
Hi.
All right. I'll wait till the next batch of people pile out. Hi there.
Giving up the ghost.
Yep.
Oh, it's a podcast.
It's a podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Take a card, check it out if you got time.
Come back and share a ghost story.
That's right. Or email ghost stories, whatever you
I
prefer.
actually stayed in the haunted room at the
Fort Garry?
Did anything happen to you?
No.
Ah.
Some kid banged on the door in the middle of the night.
Oh.
Pretty
Teenagers.
Kids.
Kind of annoying.
Kids, am I right?
Guys.
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, no, please check us out.
Cool.
Thanks.
Love a good ghost.
All right. Well, we drink and swear a little bit too, just be warned. So, you got to do what you got to do. All right. So then I'll just edit most of this out. The story begins during Winnipeg's first economic boom in 1881 to 82. Upper Fort Garry was purchased by the city, and in the following year, its demolition enabled the straightening of Main Street. Really? That's not very straight.
No.
No.
They didn't do a good job.
I think they need to start over again. Redo. The city's old law courts and jail at the corner of Main Street and William, which I had heard about, was sold for $65,200.
Main Street in William, where City Hall is.
That was the original courthouse, yeah. There were people hung, actually, across from, the restaurant there, the King's Head? In that
Yes.
courtyard, what do they call that? I can't remember what they call that now. Menopause, mind blank. The market, the market thing there?
Like the cube.
Yeah, where the cube is, right? That was where they used to hang people initially.
Oh, actually, that's a good spot.
Yeah, no kidding, eh? Anyway.
I
Are
feel
you
that some
saying
people-
they should institute that again?
Well, I'm not saying anything about our counselors at City Hall. However, anyway.
Edit. No, that's fine. That's fine. So anyway, again, the old law courts and jail at the corner of Main Street and William Avenue were sold for $65,200, and the proceeds were earmarked for a new courthouse and jail. We're outside, so there's planes and cars. All we're
Planes,
missing,
trains, and automobiles.
all we're missing is a train. Oh, yeah, my purse is still there. Got to watch that. We're downtown. So anyway, those funds were desperately needed for a new courthouse and jail. The Manitoba Free Press described the old facilities as a damp, dark, dismal dungeon that smells to heaven. That's what they said. The reporter described the women's ward as being a room about 15 feet long by 8 feet wide, tenanted by a dozen females, some of whom were crouching on the floor in squalid wretchedness. I should have done it in an English accent, eh? While others were moving about indulging in the foulest language. My word.
My goodness.
My goodness gracious. The atmosphere was simply sickening and tough, as the scribe had to beat a hasty retreat. So meaning that they got to get a new jail ASAP, is what he's saying. The provincial government decided to construct new judicial buildings on land purchased from the Hudson's Bay Company near Colony Creek at the outskirts of the city. So this was actually considered at the outskirts at one point.
Oh,
Well, back in 1881-82, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Because the creek actually,
Well, how big was the city? Because the Battle of Seven Oaks wasn't.
but it was all sprawling, right? Like,
Yeah.
and it wasn't really, like, if you think about it, only up until like 55 years ago, St. Boniface was its own city, if you think about it,
that is
right?
true.
So when they're saying City of Winnipeg, there may have been different towns, communities, townships, but Winnipeg as its own, basically, this is where it ended. So I guess they figured this is a good place to put a jail, out of sight, out of mind, out of public area, right?
Just like right now, all of them are outside, on the outskirts as well.
Kind of like that, right? Yeah. And the cool thing about they purchased the property from the Hudson Bay Company near Colony Creek. So Colony, the street? There is actually an underground creek that runs from Colony, and it goes all the way where the ICG building is, not ICG, Investors Group, the IG building.
Field?
No, the IG building on the corner of Memorial.
Oh, yes,
There's actually a creek because that used to be a brewing company. Very cool. So it says at the outskirts of the city, the new jail was to be located behind the courthouse facing north on a predominantly open prairie. So that was all open over there. And behind it toward the Assiniboine River were the Fort Osborne Barracks. Oh, so they were here a long time. And on the west side of the creek, the McDonough and Shea Brewing. Oh, okay, it was over there. Anyway. The new building, to be known formerly as the Eastern Judicial District Gaol, was intended to be different from other jails of its time. The Gaol.
Oh, it says jail. That's how they spelled.
Is that how they spell?
That's how they spelled jail.
T is teaching me stuff. Holy
There
crap.
are actually there's a jail road,
Okay.
and it's GAOL. And the first time I saw that, I said, "What is that?"
Because it's like Gaelic or something,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah. Sweet.
District jail.
GAOL is jail. Okay, cool. But then this is goal. Like, talk about messing me up in the
Yeah.
same sentence. So the goal was to design a building that would deliver an ominous message to potential criminals that prison life was not to be desired without resorting to a somber appearance. Interesting. Would you care to do page 2?
Sure, I can do page 2.
Because you have a beautiful speaking voice.
Thank you.
Pronunciation.
The east wing was to be 28 feet from the eastern corner of the courthouse, joined by a corridor to transfer criminals back and forth, so the prisoner is brought directly from the jail into the dock entirely separated from the public.
Yeah.
Interesting. The jail's interior was divided into 4 sections. The east and west wings, the 2 smaller south and north wings. The east wing was partially used to hold criminals of the lighter stripe, which I'm feeling is less offensive.
Maybe.
There were 7 cells on the ground floor with a turnkey's room, bathrooms, and a mess ward. The second floor housed a workroom, 7 women's wards, each 5 feet by 10 feet, matron's room, nurse's room, bathrooms, and storage room. The attic was used as living quarters for turnkeys and guards. The south wing had laundry facilities in the basement, kitchen, pantry, and lift on the ground level. The second floor housed the hospital ward with wash basins, and the attic served as a dormitory. Yeah, interesting. The west wing, the strongest cells, was the heart of the jail. Only male offenders convicted of serious crimes like robbery, rape, and murder were housed here. Solitary confinement cells in the basement were for offenders who did not abide by prison rules. Constructed of stout oak planking
Maybe they should do that nowadays.
with steel rods, the cell walls were incredibly dense. There were no windows or other means of natural light, no light fixtures, and no sleeping cot. In the smaller solitary confinement rooms, where disobedient convicts spent a shorter period of time, usually 1 or 2 days, and the criminal was confined to the wall.
Oof, brutal. And I think they were lifted.
wall?
I think they were lifted. Yeah.
Wow. Here we go. Wrist and leg irons with 1 to 2 feet of slack chain bound the inmate, and then the chains were fed through iron rings attached to the cell. There, the inmate would hang in the dark till their time was completed. The solitary confinement room at the end of the corridor was large enough to walk around and had its own toilet. Subsequently, these cells gained the reputation of being the closest thing to a living grave. The ground floor had 7 metal cells that held 4 criminals each. They slept on hammocks instead of cots attached to the walls. There was a long barred hallway where inmates could walk, but there were no windows to reduce the risk of escape. A bathroom was at the end of the corridor. The second floor had 18 cells made of oak planks secured with iron tongues, bars, and bolts. The north or front wing of the jail accommodated the jailer and his family. Patrick Lawler, coincidentally, Lawler, with his wife and children, was the first and only jailer to reside there. The main entrance was originally the front door to this unusual home. A dining room on the west side with a parlor across from it were on the ground floor. A long hallway with Lawler's office at the back, just off the rotunda, ran through the center of the building.
Yeah.
4 bedrooms were on the second floor, also known as the chamber floor, and the attic provided more dormitory and storage space for the Lawlers. Extending north from the main entrance was the family's personal garden and lawn that extended to where the sidewalk on the north side of York Avenue is located today.
Isn't that funny? Now, you in your mind, you know, we walk past it all the time.
Right.
You look at it now and you're like, wow, like that was like gardens.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
The Lawlers lived there until about 1900, when a house was built for them near the corner of York and Vaughan. In 1904, Patrick Lawler's term as jailer was done and he and his family moved out.
Yeah. Can you imagine raising kids though here with hardened criminals downstairs? The screaming and everything going on, and it's like you say to your kids, "It's okay, honey, go to bed."
I'd really like to know what happened to them in their lives, what they turned out to
How messed up did they? Yeah. Probably could find it out.
be. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that would
Lawlers.
be an interesting
I
story.
think I'm going to have let me get the pen and paper. We can do history searches now again. Before we had to pay and now it's free again.
Oh, good.
But you got to be so specific when you search it up.
So
What
you
happened?
can search up Patrick Lawler and the name of the wife and children. He must, who knows, he could have been messed up as well.
Or they might have moved away, right? They may have moved, you know, because if he was a jailer, that might be his career, and then he just goes to other jails and stuff, right?
Oh, so the kids all
So then
constantly
he
had
would have been
something.
not just a jailer, he would have been sort of like the whatchamacallit.
The warden.
Thank you, warden. My mind is just not here today, so
It's the heat.
what happened to the Lawler family? Okay, that's cool. So to continue on with our history portion of the Vaughan Street Jail, nestled in the corner of the east and south wings was a half-acre exercise yard enclosed by a 14-foot fence. Holy crap, eh? That's why, I mean, they would need that. That also served as the site for the executions, which is where we are now.
Wow, you said that very excitedly.
I'm all about the executions. Just kidding. By 1890, the jail was considered to be in a good state of efficiency and now being improved with electric lighting, replacing earlier coal lamps. However, problems arose as early as 1883. The materials for the basement floor were of inferior quality and needed to be replaced. The boilers were not operating sufficiently in the winter and required rebuilding. That's a nice bird, eh? Like, really, that's a nice bird. What is it doing downtown? Go to the suburbs. You don't deserve. It's not good enough for you down here. To cut costs, prison labor was used for building construction, and it was recommended by the jail doctor that this would be also benefit to the men by giving them more physical exercise. The following year, so
Well, you know what? That is true. That
put
is
them
a
to
point.
work. Sure, put them to work. Make them work for their stay, for their porch. But no, but I guess, you know, like that's free labor, right? So the following year, similar problems such as the pipes, boilers, etc. were all worn out and needed to be replaced and rebuilt. Wow, that didn't last very long, hey? But whatever. 2 chimneys were constructed to remove a danger of an unspecified nature. In 1899, the safety of the heating system. Were they burning asbestos? What the hell?
Unspecified nature.
I don't know. So hush hush, eh, in those days. Ooh. Maybe a body got stuck in there. No, I don't know.
Maybe somebody farted.
Lovely. Oh my God. The heating system was again questioned as the furnace flues often got absolutely red hot and caught on fire during the winter months.
Oh.
Boy, I guess burning alive is not really part of the sentencing. No. The boilers had to be replaced at the end of 1890s, and the once impenetrable condemned cell was now insecure, leaving the possibility of escape. Interesting. The city hired provincial architect Samuel Hooper to oversee renovations in 1990 and in 1910, and to extend the south wing by 100 feet. Hooper was not interested in preserving buildings in their original state, incorporated new architectural designs that were popular at the time. He added a plainer face to the north wing, and I guess that would have been where the Lawler family were living, and had the title of the building changed to Provincial Jail, GAOL, which now could be read more easily from the street. The rotunda received a handsome 3-stage cupola with a weather vane to avoid an otherwise abrupt conjunction between the section and new 3-story south wing. All the wooden cells were removed and replaced with steel. I guess that would be a problem, hey? If the place burnt down?
Yeah.
Like, really, you'd be burning alive. Yeah. With the change in the jailer's residence, the front of the building could now serve as a general entranceway. Batter up. Oh, she's got the good section. Here you go. This is really good.
This is a good section.
I know it's juicy.
Considerable information about the jail's population is contained in reports prepared by the Provincial Attorney General in 1886 and 1900. Inmates were predominantly male, with a small number of women and even fewer children, defined as those under the age of 20. A large number of insane persons were confined there temporarily before being transferred to the Selkirk Asylum, which
Is still there.
it's a Selkirk section. Okay. In 1886, 164 prisoners and insane persons were received. Prisoners performed 797 days of work. The nature of their crimes was diverse. There were 56 convictions for larceny, 10 assaults with intent to rob, 8 robberies with violence, 7 assaults with intent to do grievous harm. How would they determine there was intent to do grievous harm? If you just rob somebody anyway.
Baseball bat and there was no game happening? I don't know.
5 cases each for burglary, assaults causing bodily harm, housebreaking,
Ooh.
larceny from prison.
Larceny from prison. So what, they were gambling?
people?
Gambling, I guess, larceny? Gambling in jail?
Cattle stealing, oh my,
Oh, that's not good.
and carrying a concealed weapon in a proclaimed district. 2 murder attempts, 2 cases of vagrancy.
That's kind of low, murder attempts. Like, that's really low.
That is. And vagrancy?
That's low, too. Because that's always been an issue.
1 case of murder, 1 case of suicide,
It was a case of murder. I had to.
1 case of rape, 1 case of felonious escape, 1 case of fraud, and 1 case each of criminal libel, gaming, selling liquor without a license, opening post letters, wow,
Ooh.
and shooting with intent to murder.
Is there anything about taking the tag off the mattress?
No, there isn't.
Oh, shit.
No. Interestingly, there were no convictions for prostitution. How
Yes.
convenient.
How convenient. Oh, I wrote my own little, that's my wording.
And that is where the phrase, it's not who you know, it's who you...
We'll leave it there. This is a family show today.
Police Chief John McCrae and Minnie Woods, the Queen of the Harlots. Oh,
Bow chicka-wawa.
the Queen of Harlots. Queen of Harlots. Queen of Harlots.
That's good enough.
Okay. Agreed to move all brothels into Point Douglas and thereby created a more regulated atmosphere for this activity.
Lovely.
In 1900, there were 91 convictions for theft, 55 for vagrancy, 55 certificates of insanity, and 10 convictions for forgery, assaults, and inmates of disorderly house. Crimes that year, which were different or new from previous years, included 5 convictions for giving liquor to Indians,
Keep talking.
3 men convicted of having sex with girls under 14 years of age, and 4 were convicted of receiving stolen goods. The increase in vagrancy convictions may be due in part to changes in the understanding of the charge. The vagrancy law.
Hi. The increase in vagrancy convictions may be due in part to changes in the understanding of the charge. What? The vagrancy law. I remember reading about this one. Are you sitting down?
Yep.
The vagrancy law covered a vast area where a man could be charged for exposing himself to a woman as means to insult her, or more relevantly, to stifle men from looking for female prostitutions. It gets worse. In 1913, the Vagrancy Act was broadened to include homosexual men. That is just really messed up. The definition of vagrancy also encompassed the people who had no visible means of support. Well, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. This charge could be used in combating begging, mugging, and loitering, which the mayor of this town needs to kind of look after, without the need to prove that such a crime was actually committed or planned. It was a convenient way to get rid of undesirable people who were bothersome. Not surprisingly, the jail population was predominantly working class laborers, outnumbered by all other occupations, with the unemployed or people without a trade assuming second place. Where do they find us, Cher?
Givinguptheghostpodcast at gmail.com.
Excellent. And we're everywhere. We're spread
Facebook.
around the world like
Yeah, like icing on us.
And remember to live every day like it is your last.
But never give up the ghost.
Never give up the ghost. Bye-bye. Bye, nuts.